Okay, students. Now today I'm going to revise the chapter that is of political science, and chapter name is what is democracy and why democracy. First of all, we should know that the definition of democracy. So, since long you are aware about the one of the ancient definition of democracy. It is a type of government which is for the people, by the people, and of the people. And this definition that was given by the former president of USA, Abraham Lincoln. So we have refined the contemporary definition. What we can give that is it is a type of government. It is a type of government in which rulers are elected by the people. How we can define? It is defined as the form of government in which rulers are elected by the people. So this is the very simple. This term democracy, that is derived from the Greek word demos, kratia. Demos and kratia. These are the two words combined together and making democracy. The demos means people, kratia means the rule. In other word, or in simple way, we can say it is a rule of people. And that is practically happening, that it is that the government, whatever we are doing in the election, so that is we are making, or we are electing the representatives, in turn they are forming the government. And in case they are not doing the work properly, then in another term, or even you can say next time, the people can change them. So in this way, we can say that this is the rule of people. Then there are two types of democracy: direct democracy and indirect democracy. So direct democracy, by name itself, we can say that in this direct type of democracy, people were involving themselves and taking decision then and there. They are doing everything, and there itself they were selecting their leaders and even taking the decision. So this direct democracy that was adopted because earlier the population was quite less, and that direct democracy that is possible in less population only. So nowadays another form of the democracy that is practice, that is indirect democracy. So what is there? That indirectly people are being elected by the common people, and they means representatives, they are forming the government. So in this way, this is indirect system. Directly people are not participating in the affairs or whatever the work is being done. Indirectly they are involved, means initially they are electing their representatives, and elected representatives, they are making the government, or in other sense they are becoming the ruler. So in this way, in definition also we have discussed that it is a form of government in which rulers are elected by the people. So here indirect democracy की बात करते हैं, so that is representatives are being elected by the people and indirectly they are participating in the government affairs. Then we will discuss the features of democracy. The features of democracy, one by one we will see and explain. or in the detailed form we will discuss each and every feature. Okay, first feature, that is major decisions are taken by elected leaders. So first feature is major decisions are taken by the elected leaders. So how we can justify this feature? So what happened in Pakistan in 1999? There was a military coup led by General Pervez Musharraf. He overthrew the democracy and he declared himself a chief executive. Later on, he changed his designation as a president in 2000 and he held a referendum in the country that granted him a 5-year extension. So what is referendum here? Referendum is a direct vote system, and in this referendum people are being asked to give the consent about this type of government, that they want to continue that government or in case they don't want. So in this way he has taken the extension of 5 years by that referendum. Then no doubt media and so many other political or democrat, they told that this referendum was based on malpractice and fraud, but nothing doing. General Pervez Musharraf, he continued his work, and in August 2000 he issued again a legal framework order that amended the constitution of Pakistan, and according to that he ordered, that president ordered to dismiss the national and provincial assemblies. And then what he has done, after some time elections were held in Pakistan and people they elected many representatives, and the government was formed, and that government was led by General Pervez Musharraf. He has become again president of Pakistan. Then what was the system they have adopted in Pakistan after even that democratic government that was elected in the elections? Some of the military officers in Pakistan, they were taking the final decision. No doubt elected members, they were involved in the process of taking final decision, but the main decision or the final decision that was approved by military officers only. So that is not the feature of democracy, as we have discussed that major decisions should be taken by elected person. So in this case we cannot say that Pakistan is a fully democratic country in that sense. No doubt elections are being held and that may be free and fair also, but final or major decisions that were not taken by elected members, in that military persons were included. Then second feature is election should be conducted at regular interval, and that should be in free and fair manner. So in many countries elections are being held at regular interval, but these are not conducted in free and fair manner. So here we will discuss two examples. One is of China. What happened in China? China elections are regularly held after 5 years, and mostly that is done by that is done for electing the country's parliament, and the parliament of China, that is known as National People's Congress. National People's Congress. So this National People Congress, that is having the power to appoint the president of China. So this National People's Congress, that is a parliament of China, that is having the power to elect or to appoint rather president. So this parliament is having nearly 3,000 members elected from all over the country. These members are from all over the country and number is 3,000. But some members are from army also. So that is again they violating the feature of democracy. So some army officers, they were also included in that parliament. So before contesting the elections, a candidate need to take the approval from this Chinese Communist Party. So there is one party, political party in China. From that party, all the candidates need to take the approval to contest in the elections. So that is again not the feature of democracy. So in this case, the Communist Party that was having some allies also, some small 8 parties, they were also included in this Chinese Communist Party. So people need to take the permission to contest in the elections, and in this way government is always formed by this Communist Party. So this is also not the feature of democracy. Let it be elections are being held at regular interval, but these elections are not conducted in free and fair manner. So in another example, in Mexico what happened? In Mexico, since its independence in 1930, Mexico hold the elections every after 6 years. So that is their constitution system, that elections should be held every after 6 years in Mexico. So elections were held regularly after every 6 years to elect the president. And even the country has never been under the military or even a dictator rule, but until 2000 continuously, since from 1930 to 2000, this in Mexico elections were won by PRI. That was a political party in Mexico, PRI, Institutional Revolutionary Party. Opposition party, they were also contesting the elections, but they never managed to win the election. What was the reason? The PRI, they were using dirty tricks to win the elections. So many dirty tricks they were using to win the elections. So in that sense, we can say that elections are being held every after 6 years, but these elections were not free and fair. So in both the example, we can say that in China as well as in Mexico, this feature that elections should be in a free and fair manner, that is not being done in Mexico and China. So in this way, we can say that China as well as Mexico, they are not even fully democratic country. Then next feature is one person, one vote and one value. So in this way, or in this picture, we can say that mostly countries are following universal adult franchisee system. So what is universal adult franchisee? That especially we talk about in India. So every country is having different type of system in this. So in India, all the citizens attaining the age of 18 years, irrespective of any religion, caste, creed, race, anything, color, they are having the right to vote in the elections. So that is universal adult franchisee. So in this regard, many countries are not fulfilling this feature, that one person, one vote, and that one vote should have one value. In Saudi Arabia, women, they don't have the right to vote in elections. So this is not the feature in that country of democracy. Estonia, one of the you can say Asian country that's you can say disintegrated from Russia, that is Estonia. In Estonia, Russian people, they are finding, because Russian people, they are in minority, So they are finding difficulties in getting the right to vote in Estonia. So that should not be. Although they are the citizen of that country, but still they are finding the difficulties in getting voting right in Estonia. So that is not the, again, feature one person, one vote, one value. Then in Fiji, one of the country, Fiji, electoral system is in such way that indigenous Fiji, they are having more value of vote than even Indian Fijian. So in that Fiji country, many Indian are living. So their Indian vote value is less than indigenous Fijian. So that is again not the feature of democracy, that is one person, one vote, one value. So in India, we can say that let it be any president, prime minister, they are having only one vote, and that value is also same as a poor man is having that value. Same value that will be of poor man as well as let it be president or even prime minister. Then comes rule of the law and respect the rights. This is also a feature, and this is the last feature that also we can justify by giving one more example. In Zimbabwe, one of the African country, in Zimbabwe, the white minority, they were ruling in Zimbabwe since 1980. Then in 1980, Zimbabwe got independence, and one party, that is ZANU PF, Zimbabwean African National Union Patriotic Front, ZANU PF. This is the full form, Zimbabwe African National Union Patriotic Front. That party, led by Robert Mugabe, they managed to win the election because Robert Mugabe was the leader of freedom struggle that got independence from white minority in 1980. So in elections, Robert Mugabe, as he was very famous leader, so he won the elections. Uh, he was a leader of ZANU PF, and he managed to, or rather, he was elected as a president. He became president, but after becoming president, he has done many unfair practice, even in elections as well as after that also. So every citizen, let it be even president, they should follow the rule of that country, and even they should respect the rights. But here, after becoming the president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, he has done many unfair practice, like he has changed the constitution many times to increase his power and to reduce his accountability. So in democracy, single person cannot change the constitution, but in in Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, after becoming president, he has changed that constitution, and he has reduced his accountability, and he has increased his power. So that cannot be done, but again he has done. That means he has not followed any rule, and even he has not respected the right also. So not only that, any opposition party, people, they were harassed, and that their meeting, that was disrupted many times if they hold any sort of meeting also. Public protest and demonstration, they were against the government, that were declared illegal. If any opposition party or any group, if any group is just doing any, or doing any public protest and even any sort of demonstration, that were declared illegal, then there was a law he has made, that if anyone is criticizing the president, that action will be taken against him. Television and radio, that were under the control of government, without any permission, or without the permission of government, even media, that was also not working. Then there are many instances that many times he has not even followed the order of judiciary system also, means court, any sort of judge, if any decision that was given against Robert Mugabe, he was not accepting that. So this type of things, or unfair practices were done by Robert Mugabe. So in that sense also we can say Zimbabwe that was not a fully democratic country. So these were the different features of democracy. Then now we can say that democracy is having merits and demerits all the way. So this is also a very important question. What are the demerits and what are the merits? Or in other sense, what are the arguments against democracy and what are the arguments in favor of democracy? So first we will discuss about argument against democracy. You know that elections are being held every after 5 years. So in this, leaders keep changing in democracy, that leads to instability. Every after 5 years, leaders are being changed. So that leads to instability. Then second disadvantage or demerits, that is democracy is all about political competition and power play. That you must have seen in democracy, there is a demonstration of competition and power play. Every leader, they want to show their power. So there is no scope of morality in that sense. They are just blaming unnecessarily, or so many allegations they are putting on others, other leaders. So in that case, there is no, you can say, scope of morality in democracy. Third demerit is many people have to be consulted in democracy. That's why it leads to delay. In case of any decision, in case of any decision, so many people are being consulted for that decision. So in that case, there is a delay in the decision. Then next demerit is elected leaders, they do not know sometimes the what is the that good or what is bad. So in that case, they are not knowing about the best interest of people. Many leaders, or rather many people, are being elected and they are not knowing that best interest of the people. So it leads to a bad decision. So in that case, if they are not aware about what is good and what is bad, so mostly chances are there that they are taking the bad decision. Then next demerit is democracy leads to corruption because it is based on electoral competition. It is based on that elections in democracy that are based on competition. So you must have seen that many leaders, they are that doing that lot of expenditure, lot of money they are spending. Then if they are becoming that leader or that minister, then they are earning that money by hook or crook. So that leads to corruption. Means it elections are based on competition, that leads to corruption in democracy. Then ordinary people do not know what is good for them, so they should not decide anything. So in that case, this is also a demerit. Ordinary people, they do not know what is good for them, so they should not decide anything. So in this way, these are the different demerits of democracy. Now comes that argument in favor of democracy. Argument in favor of democracy, that is again very important factor, what we can say in this regard. Well, so what are the merits, or why we say that democracy is the best form of the government in the world? And most of more than even 80% countries, they are adopting this democracy as well. Then what are the different reasons why most of the countries are adopting democracy, there must be some reason, there must be, we can say, the advantages over disadvantages. So what are these? First one is very important, that government is more accountable in this case. So a democratic government is better government because it is more accountable form of government. So this is the one of the advantage. How we can just justify this, that in democracy government is more accountable? See, once example again, I will quote in this Chinese famine that occurred in 1958 to 1961, and that was the one of the worst recorded famine in the world. अकाल, एक अकाल आया था चाइना के अंदर in 1958 to 1961, and that was considered again the one of the worst famine recorded in the world. See, nearly 3 crore people during 1958 and or rather between 1958 to 1961, 3 crore people, that is a huge number. Right now if we say many countries, they are not having this much population, and in that famine 3 crore people, they died in that famine. So during that time India's economy, that was not so good, no doubt, but still it was the condition that if it happened in India at that time, these many people would not have been killed by that famine, because India was having that democratic government, and in that case. But China, what statement the Chinese government has given? This is natural activity, natural calamity. We cannot do anything. So these many people died. We cannot do anything. But you know that in democracy, that cannot be, this type of statement cannot be given, as government is more accountable in this case. So this is the case, that in democracy, the government is more accountable. Then second advantage or second merit, or you can say what is second importance is, democracy improves the quality of decision making. In democracy, whatever decisions are being taken, these decisions are of quality. Quality in the sense, no doubt there is a delay in that. There is a delay because there is a process with each and every member in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. They are being discussed, and in this process there is a delay, but when the decision is being taken, that is of good quality. So this is second advantage, that democracy improves the quality of decision. Then third merit is, democracy provides a method to deal with the differences and conflicts. If there is any conflict between government to government, for example, central government to state government, one state government to another state government, and even state government to any of the individual, then between two individuals, this is one sort of conflict. Let it be any case, a better solution is given by the democratic government. So this is also one of the best feature, that democracy provides a better method to deal with the differences and conflicts. So who is doing this, or who is providing this better solution? That is judiciary system. All type of courts, they are giving the better solution for any sort of differences and conflicts in democracy. Then comes, democracy enhances the dignity of the citizen. What does it mean? That everyone require that respect from others. So this is again enhanced in democracy. So all are equal in this sense. Democracy is one of the, you can say, feature, that all are equal in democracy. So this is the again very important factor, the dignity of each and every citizen that is being enhanced. And next and final that feature is democracy is better form of government than others because it allows us to correct its own mistakes. See, it is providing or it is allowing us to correct our mistakes. What does it mean? Ki if any government is doing any sort of mistake, if any government is doing any sort of mistake, then that the government is given the time to correct that mistake. So that is possible in only democracy. So this is also one of the advantage or merit of democracy. So we discussed with the justification that how democracy is accepted by maximum countries and why it is considered the best form of government. The first merit what we have discussed, that democratic government is best or more accountable government. Then second one is democracy improves the quality of decision. Then third one is democracy provides a method to deal with the differences and conflicts. Then comes democracy enhances the dignity of the citizens. Then finally, it allows us, democratic government allows us to correct our mistake. These are the different merits and advantages. Because of that, we can say why democracy is accepted as the best form of the government. Then last topic is broader meaning of democracy. So democracy in up to now we have discussed about that aspect of a country only. In a country, how democracy is just implemented and it is being practiced also. But this is not the matter, that democracy or whatever the rules and regulations are there, that is practiced in country itself or country only. But we practically see that these democratic rules, these are being practiced in every aspect of our life. Let it be in our family, let it be in any of the institutions like the schools, or if in any of the company, or in any of the small organization. Everywhere we can see that democracy is being accepted, or that democracy is being implemented. So that is the broader meaning of democracy. See, take the example of our family. See, our family is having suppose 5 to 6 members, then one head is there. So in that, if any decision is being taken in the family itself, then what head is doing, mostly all the members are being consulted, that so and so decision we are going to take. So what should be the best, you can say, decision you suggest. So no doubt every opinion is being taken in the family, and that is only the rules and regulation or the features of democracy. That means all are equal in that sense. No doubt decision is being taken finally by that head only, but still the voices or even opinion of all the members that is being taken. Then if you take the case of any school, the case of any school, that is also having some sort of that equality. So all teachers are equal. Then orders that is from head of the school, that is being followed. So this is all, everything is happening in democracy also. Decision, in case of any decision, all the teachers, they are being asked about that decision, and then finally decision is taken by the principal, the head of the institute or the school. So this is the meaning of broader meaning in this case. So now nothing else in this chapter. We will discuss next chapter in the next class, that is tomorrow. So by the time, bye bye. God bless you. Thank you for joining and listening. Thank you.